Hello, everyone, and welcome out to the Cars, Bars, and Guitars podcast, episode number 22. I'm AJ.
And I'm Steve.
I didn't pick up on Mike. You were pouring the beer.
And I'm Steve.
Steve, who are we brought to you today by?
Snowstorms.
Fuck snowstorms.
Exactly.
Steve is talking through the beer he's pouring right now, which is why he sounds not Steve-like. Steve, what are we drinking?
A delicious bottle of motor oil.
After I pour mine, Steve will lovingly read it to you in his pleasing baritone voice, which Kristen likes, by the way. She goes, I listen to y'all's podcast, and Steve's voice kind of puts me to sleep in a good way. Like, it's very...
Hello, Kristen. I'll be your tranquilizer.
Holy shit. Even the head of it is dark. Steve, what are we drinking today?
The Windridge Farm Brewing Bourbon Barrel Aged Imperial Stout. Farm made in P-fucking-A.
Nice. Pick for attention? What ABV is it?
13.9%. 14 was just a few too many.
Yes.
Our Imperial Stout was aged for 9 months in bourbon barrels from 3 prominent Kentucky distilleries. We're not telling you who. The barrels were filled with this stout within 48 hours of being drained of bourbon, giving the beer its pronounced bourbon character. The beer pours jet black with an aroma of toffee, coffee, and dark chocolatey, irresistibly rich in wonderfulness.
And it smells the part, guys. It really does. And before we do, Steve is the proud owner of some really cool headphones. Guitar Center, by the time you listen to this, is probably going to be out of them. $100 headphones, $20. Cheers to that, Steve.
Thanks, Tesco. The British supermarket, right?
Oh. Wow.
Whoa.
That was totally worth the money.
This is going to put hair in your chest and take it off mine.
Yes. I almost bought us a bottle of... it was a Funky Buddha. It was a silly name. I had to look up what it was. $31 for a bottle that size. So I decided that's not going on CBGPod episode 22.
22 ounces for those listening.
Yeah, not today. I wasn't feeling... because the save some room for later was
that is approaching whiteout prices.
Yeah, this was 17, I think, that was acceptable. This one was only like 15. And I've never even heard of those guys before, but... whoever you are,
wish we had.
Keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, even the head on it's super dark, and
it was a bottle so fancy it arrived in wax.
It did. It kind of arrived in wax.
Waxish.
It is not.
Either
waxing.
way, it was a bigger pain in the ass to open than it needed to be.
Yeah, big time. It looks like the mascot is part deer, part fox, wearing a scarf.
Devil horns and angel wings? What is this?
Deer fox with a scarf. It's very tiny.
Yes. It is a fox with a tiny deer's head and a scarf. That's totally it.
Well, you know what? As long as they stick to making beer and not mascots, then could not care less.
Still looks better than Sneaky Squirrel. Rest in pieces.
Which we only went once. I didn't hate the beer, just nothing memorable.
I remember there was a lot of it.
There was a lot of it, and we had all of it, and I don't remember not only the names or the tastes of anything. Nothing just stood out. Is that worse than bad beer, though?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
I'm inclined to say at least if it's bad, it's more entertaining to let everybody else try it. If it's bland and just flavorless, then...
like my very first sour was the Monk's Cafe Flemish Sour.
Mm-hmm.
It took me an hour and a half to finish that.
For those of you who don't know us, we don't...
We're not sour fans.
We don't nurse...
We're bitter people.
We're not nurses either. We don't nurse the beers. We drink them. So the fact that it took you that long to do it, it's... I did see Sean Preston chug a beer. Like, he had one sip of it. One day you couldn't make it at Saucer, and it was so bad he fucking downed it. Give me another one. Like, whew, that's a lot of bad all at one time. So while we're on bland and flavorless, Steve, I was instructed to give this topic a go. Our favorite cheap beers.
So besides the Kirkland IPA mix pack, when it's
that is
90 cents a bottle, it's like that's probably the best of cheap.
It is, but excluding that and more of the go-to cheap macros that everybody always goes to. So I
think I know your answer.
I know you know my answer.
Something that can now be, oddly enough, can be served in a champagne bottle.
It is. And if you ever want to make man-mosas, it's Miller High Life and orange juice. Miller High Life is my go-to.
They're person-mosas now, thank you.
Oh, that's right. I hope it doesn't fall through a person hole cover. Thanks, George Carlin. Have you heard that spiel? That's so great. Yeah, High Life is my go-to. High Life Light is garbage, but the real High Life, I mean, it's High Life Heavy
it's already
is still light.
pretty light. Yeah.
Exactly. But it does have a flavor. My old buddy Chuck, who I haven't seen since my wedding, he liked MGD.
What's up, Chuck?
What's up, Chuck? It's when you puke. Oh, no, what's up, Chuck?
That's what happened with my vertigo last week. That was not pleasant.
Yikes. Yeah, fuck you too.
That's better.
1, 2, 3, 14. I don't think Bono took Spanish in high school. Although
they don't need to. If you go south of Ireland, you're still.
Oh, they know south of Ireland. Okay. So Bono,
in a place that still speaks English.
About a decade ago, a guy I think he posted on his MySpace page, like that's a real thing.
It was.
He picked up a hitchhiker, and they were just talking. Later turned out the hitchhiker was Bono. Bono was hitchhiking across the United States. Because I guess why not? I mean, doesn't seem like the safest thing to do as Bono. Doesn't seem like the safest thing to do anyway, but especially as Bono. I'm not.
Have you heard the tale of Hitchbot?
Spoiler
alert: it didn't end well for a robot trying to hitchhike across the United States.
Yeah, that's true. By the those robot videos freak me out, where they try to kick the robot over and it doesn't, and they have it jump. Like, no, why? Please stop doing this. I don't mind the robots like making shit in a factory, but don't give them human traits. This is how it starts, guys. I'm not paranoid about it. I'm not a prepper.
Just because Asimov wrote it 100 years ago doesn't mean they had to obey it.
Yeah, that's true. Does that mean we're all going to die of AIDS-related complications, too? Although it wasn't his fault this time. He actually had a blood transfusion that was tainted. So that's way worse than the normal. Yeah, Isaac Asimov got AIDS from... He had to have a blood transfusion. I think he had really thin blood, and he had to go in and get it and just have transfusion. And the sample they gave him was HIV positive. No, whoever did that should have went straight to jail. But fuck
thanks, Mr. Reagan.
Probably. I didn't read that in Reaganomics. Raidsgonomics. Steve, what is your go-to cheap if you had, $8 and you want to go get a 12-pack of something cheap that wasn't Kirkland? It's just one of the macros.
Does that include nearby imports?
Because
then I say Red Stripe. Hooray, beer!
It has been a decade, probably, since I got Red Stripe.
I think the last time I got Red Stripe en masse was one of the Christmas parties, and the box quickly evaporated. It proved incredibly popular, bringing something that looks like candy canes and doesn't taste at all like candy canes.
Thankfully. But you like peppermint.
Yeah, not in my beer, though. You had a good point on that.
Twice at Saucer, 2 different waitresses, 2 different mint beers.
This is different. Yeah. I don't wish for my beer to taste like my toothpaste.
No,
if
not at
I
all.
want to drink something minty, I've got plenty of Listerine. Thank you.
It's my favorite Bush song. Let's just do domestic.
So just domestic. So no Labatt's, no Molson's, no Red Stripes, no Tecates, no Dos Equis, no Modelo's, no Modelo Negras. Like, I can think of so many things from nearby that are so much better than the usual swill that winds up being your Miller Coors Pabst Spud.
All right. You know what? All right. So before you begin, we'll do our favorite U.S. macro, and then we'll do our favorite north and south of the border.
All right.
Might as well, because there's not that many places that make cheap, like, shit. that's considered shit beer by most craft beer enthusiasts, neckbeards, much like you and me. but we appreciate the cheap too. So I don't think
my beard's on my chin. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You know what else is going to be on your chin? Probably
Balls?
more beer. I'll tell you what though, Molson's not terrible.
Yeah,
it's mad decent. And then Labatt's I don't particularly care for.
do not get Labatt Blue Light.
Oh
No. It suffers from the GHTs.
oh, what are the GHTs?
That was an old ad campaign for Miller trying to spew off its ITEs.
Oh yeah,
Those aren't all right.
Do you remember the bitter beer face?
Oh yeah,
That was
one of them.
God damn it! I don't remember what it was. I think it was. I thought it was Molson.
See, that is one thing that the cheap beer industry has brought us. Brilliant advertising for shitty product.
That's yeah. I mean, if your product's going to be bad, the advertisement better be good. Unlike this, where the advertisement, the logo was bad, and well, the bottle itself is good, but the deer.
Whoa,
Fox.
Foxy Beery.
Don't you know you're my drunk little thing, Foxy, dearie. Let's see here. And then Dos Equis Amber is better than the regular.
The lager.
Yes. Which the Mexican joint right near my house does $2 Dos Equis Ambers on Tuesday and Thursday, I think, which I need to take more advantage of that because you get a picture of it, too, for like fucking $7. I'm like, it's ridiculous. Okay.
Groovy.
Yeah, I need to tell you the story about the Mexican restaurant with Josh Hagler. We'll get to that in a second, but all right, this topic's gone nowhere fast because we've already picked all of our favorites.
North and south of the border.
Yeah, I mean, nobody else makes cheap macro beers. I mean, like we'll go China, a Singtel.
Yeah, give me a Varstein or a Spaten from Germany.
Yeah,
like the most readily available imports from points elsewhere.
Sapporo from Japan.
Mm-hmm.
You can keep your Peroni though from Italy.
Yeah, the only decent Italian beer I had was the Moretti Rossi. Not the standard Moretti, but the red Moretti was okay. But there's a reason Italians are better known for their wine.
Yep, and Mark will probably bring us something from our sour grapes related booze brethren when he's a guest on the podcast. I don't know who's going to be fucking first. Everybody wants to be on.
Just bring everybody.
Well, I don't have that many. Now we have 3 mics. 4 if you count the condenser, but now we don't possess the amount of headphones, and I still don't have a new focus. Right?
BYOH.
So that'll be after the holidays when I get more Christmas money and shit like that.
Focus left.
Perhaps I don't know if they'll buy that one back or not at Guitar Center. Like trade in, just get a couple dollars for it that I didn't have before. Yeah, well, you know, because the 2-channel one is $99. The 4-channel one was $289. Doesn't seem fair, but okay, whatever. But they're all XLR inputs.
So what you're saying is the first 2 channels are free?
Yeah, I think so, actually. Well, there you go. There's our favorite cheap beers. And if you don't...
Not now, Windows.
At least it doesn't record into it. I usually turn this on. Like, I was asleep when you came over, and I usually turn that on like 30 minutes ahead of time, so that doesn't happen. But, whatever.
Yeah, so you got your... I think it was like a Michelob Honey Lager was a good go-to back when I lived in Raleigh.
Never heard of it.
I don't even know if that still exists. So that was a good go-to. And from the makers of Pabst's Old Tankard, but I only saw that like twice at a couple of like free beer art shows when Pabst was still sponsoring them in Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
It's been about 2 years ago I last had that one, but it was from Pabst, but certainly didn't taste the part.
PBR just
there's
no flavor. It's just like diet beer. That's exactly what it tastes like.
They made a lot of money on irony for a little while there.
True, and the best beer since voted best beer in 1893.
No, consider your options.
Like,
I think those were whiskey times, y'all.
Yeah, I think so. And I don't know, man. I've been getting more into whiskey now too.
Like Yuengling's been around since 1829. That's a better beer.
Big time.
My first legal 6-pack was Yuengling Black and Tan.
I haven't had a black and tan in probably a decade either. Man, the craft beer explosion's just pretty much negating.
Really tanked, the big go-tos. And I remember Yingling being a very big thing first coming to North Carolina just before I turned 21. So this would have been the earlier part of 2002.
Mm-hmm.
And, I guess the statute of limitations is over. That I could say, yes, I had a neighbor that was a little bit older than me, so he could buy me whatever I could, give him money to go get.
Yes.
Yingling was well worth the hype then.
It's still a good beer.
Yeah.
What I don't like amber-wise, I don't really like Fat Tire that much. It just has a weird...
I enjoyed that a lot more when it first came here back in, 09 or so.
Oh, that was almost 10 years ago now.
Yeah. When New Belgium first started distributing here, so this is well before the brewery opened in Nashville, it was Old Tire, 1554.
Old Tire?
Yes. Yeah, so Fat Tire, 1554, and Mothership.
Yes.
Fat Tire is their go-to.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be everywhere all the time. Love it or hate it. That's what built them. 1554, lovely Dunkel. I would much rather have that. And the Mothership was this vile wit beer that doesn't exist anymore. Good,
then.
Yes.
Because a wit beer can be really good, and then when it's not really good, it's really fucking bad. There's one that comes...
It was like, imagine if a Hefeweizen were to taste of vegetables instead of bananas.
Ugh.
This was the worst possible opening to brewery making it this way.
That sounds vile. Now, Toby swears up and down that this was a product, but I've never seen it. And he said it was one of the best cheap shit beers. And it was Bud Ice Light. And I'd never heard of it. And he swears up and down that he got it.
That sounds crazy enough to work.
Yeah, and he said it was actually really good because...
Are their mascots penguin eggs?
Maybe. As long as they go the doobie doobie doo. I miss those. Let us check Bud Ice Light and see what. Well, I guess. Well, you can pick up a 12-packer of.
So how many neon signs did that show you?
A lot. That was the first thing that showed up in Google search. See. Yep. Bud Ice Light. No way you can buy it from Walmart.com. Our exclusive ice brewing process produces a rich, smooth taste that's remarkably easy to drink. It's 5%. It's a light beer that's 5%. We need to buy some of this and then have it shipped here. Boy, the bottle looks 90s fucking tastic, though. Look at that glorious nonsense. You probably go out back here in the woods and find a couple of those. What was your first alcoholic drink you ever had that you can remember? Like,
I think the very first thing that I can recall was going into freezer growing up, digging up the bottle of Stolichnaya.
Ooh.
Oh, no, it was Absolute. It was Absolute. Unfortunately, the Papar, the pepper-flavored vodka.
Oh, Lord. Is that black pepper or, like, green pepper?
I think this might as well have just been black pepper-flavored, and I had no interest in anything beyond that first drop.
Like, ooh, I'm going to be
This
naughty.
was a long time before I was going to realize I really like Bloody Marys, but at the time, that on its own, hell no.
Any white liquor on its own, even now we have a developed palate and we're legal age of drinking, is just not good. I've had so many bad experiences with white liquor that I've started taking the Ron Swanson approach to white liquor. Do you know what that is?
Don't.
White liquor is for rich white women on diets. I didn't say it with the inflections of Mr. Swanson, but you get the picture. I can't believe they had a pepper flavored version of that circa 1990 whatever.
Yeah, it was 12 or 13.
That's ridiculous. So mine was Milwaukee's Best, heavy. and I was like, man, this is not
from
very.
my trip to Pennsylvania a long time ago.
So this is not very good. And then that was like when I was 10, because I was like, can I try? My dad would mow and drink a beer, and then I would sit on his lap, and then I would steer, and he would just sit there and let me drive. That's my intro to driving. By the way, I'll tell you another story about my dad while driving, too. Statute of limitations is going on for this one, too, so I think we're both safe. Then a couple of years later, he switched to Miller Lite, and I tried that. I was like, it's weird taste. It just has no taste, even at that age. And then my mom would get Brass Monkey from the ABC store, that funky monkey, and I'd drink that. At like 14, I tried that. And then my sister would get Zima, and I would try those. So I've been a little bit all over the place. But I think
you eventually landed at the good place.
Eventually we did, yeah. I think. What was the first thing that you got hammered drunk on? Because I know what mine was. Your breath smells chocolatey, by the way.
Probably first really intense night was sometime summer after graduating high school at Buddy's place. First time I had moonshine.
Wow, you went deep the fucking first time. Okay.
Yeah.
What kind and who purveyed it? Oh.
It was after a bunch of, cheap beers as well.
Liquor after or beer before liquor.
That was loud enough to knock me down. Yeah.
I think it would knock me down.
But it was, thanks to a friend and coworker at the time that was into Volkswagens, and he had like an original Nintendo collection before that was all the rage. Well, at the time, I had, what games I'd collected and hadn't gotten rid of them. Still haven't. So it was thanks to Walt that, got the idea to hang on to those. Like, never mind, I just emailed the hell out of all of them. But
now it's all...
Yeah. Now it's much easier than having to fight the machine to do it.
Well, now it's all the rage to have a Nintendo collection again. What was old is now new again.
It's real funny to think of some of these actually fetching money.
I know. That's the crazy part, too. But I still... And that's not me just being an old fuck. I think the old games are more fun. When I see people playing games, and then you play a game for 5 minutes, and then you have to watch like a 5-minute bit on something or 10.
Here's how to do a thing.
Yeah. And then like there's story. No, just give me a little plumber going one fucking direction and jumping on shit, and I'm fucking happy, man. I don't want to think. I go to video games to escape thinking. I just want to have fun. I have to... excuse me. I have to think in real life all the time. I don't like doing it anymore. I just want to escape. But my pie will be in, you said, tomorrow?
I sure hope so.
Do you want me to give you the money before you leave?
I'd consider my arm twisted.
Okay. I could do that. But I cannot wait to get that fucking pie. I thought about putting it up here, but that means I'm going to have to get a TV up here. Or a monitor that does both.
Easy. Yeah, I mean, it's tiny, so it's portable. Or get multiples.
Yes, I like where this is going. My first really drunken experience was really stupid on my part because it was a mixture of 5 o'clock vodka and Mad Dog 2020 Banana Red.
8 o'clock coffee.
Yeah, and Banana Red and Mad Dog 2020. Not mixed together, but that was the combination of... I didn't feel very good the next morning at all. I still... when I have a headache when I wake up the next morning, now I think back to that day where I'm like, I think this is still remnants of that night. A little bit was just still left inside of it. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, as for the cheap beers, like, well, I would say Coors or It's Light, but neither is very good, and there's only so much nostalgia for smoking the band I'm willing to offer here.
Yeah, true. The Coors Light's actually not bad if it's really, really cold. It's actually pretty refreshing.
It's like, I don't know about you, but I like to be able to use my sense of touch rather than sight to see that my beer is cold. To completely rip off a joke from David Cross.
Do I need to listen to more of David Cross?
I think you're going to like what you listen to.
Okay, he's married to... I don't remember her name, but she was on House and like the last 2 seasons of House, I think. And she is
out of his league, huh?
Kinda. Most people would be. if I'm honest. I mean, I'm not saying he's not an attractive man, but He's not an attractive man. Steve, what are we going to drink next? What are you feeling? Since we just had a Russian Imperial that was,
so not that.
high school freshman percentage.
Yeah.
I'll just grab. Keep the people entertained.
All right. Did you get those cans I brought?
Yeah.
The Publiner.
Publiner?
Hey, you just happened to grab that one. Cool.
It was green.
So what we have here is what I imagine is an Irish-style beer made in Germany, courtesy of the 24-pack of German beers disguised as an advent calendar my sister got me for my birthday. Thanks, Kat. So this is, I think, beer number 11 or 12 out of the series.
It certainly looks the part of Irish. It's every shade of green.
Correction, it's a 3-leaf clover. It's realistic.
It's very realistic. Like, I did find a 5-leaf clover one time, but I don't think that's good luck. I think that's just Siamese clovers.
Yes.
Siamese clovers would be a great Irish folk band name.
I like that. So this is the Publiner Dunkles Exportbier. Irish in character, stark im Genuss. What? Excuse me. A dark beer for export. Irish in the character, colorful taste in the enjoyment. Tast, correction. It's got a typo.
It has to, let me see it.
Tast.
This is now my favorite cheap beer ever. I don't give a fuck about the rest of them.
Let's see. I saw what that pack was going for. It was $60 for 24 of them. So this is a $2.50 tall boy. Still not bad.
Not bad at all.
It's not my Lidl pricing. It's like, yeah, it's $1 a beer.
I hope it tastes good.
That makes two of us. There's not much to say. Other than this comes from Rowdy Aldi's hometown of Ingolstadt.
Nice. Well, pour yourself an English stot tast. Boy. Here's the funny story while you're pouring that. So when my dad used to take me to church, he didn't make me go. He just kind of asked me until I realized that, that's not really my thing. He would stop at the gas station on the way home and get 2 tall boy cans and drink both of them on the way home.
Seriously, he's taking that shit.
Yeah. So, and he would save each of us a can. And going down the road, we'd try to throw the can in the back of the truck going at 55 miles per hour. He's like, all right, you ready? On the count of 3. And he always hit it every fucking time going down the road. And mine, half the time, would just sail. And then we'd stop about a mile from the house, and he'd go, all right, your turn to drive home. And I would be... Let me reiterate that I was like 6 fucking years old. So I'm sitting on my dad's lap, who had just had 2 beers, driving a 68 D100 Dodge pickup truck. He shifted the gears and did the braking, but I would drive us all the way home sitting on his lap. Boy, that if anybody found out about that now, they would throw that person in jail. But I live to tell the tale. Love you, Pops, and cheers to the test. That's really good.
Das schmeckt sehr gut. I've been very happy with the everything in that pack.
That is excellent.
And I have no idea how to acquire more of it, short of if any Costco somewhere still has those and they still have more of them.
This can is strange. If you pick it up, it still feels like it has a swallow left in it, and there's nothing in there.
Is that an African or European swallow?
I don't know. I have no, that's weird.
Yeah, these cans are heavy duty.
Does it have a float in it or something? What the fuck's going on here? That's weird.
Yeah, it's just how Irish do they want this thing to be?
It's looking at me funny. It probably wants to fight me. So, by the way, if you hear slapping noise,
fighting leprechauns.
Yeah,
here's to you, Nostradamus.
Doesn't he have some prophecies? Oh, that was Nostradamus.
Yeah, to have a murderous football season once again.
It looks like it. They're undefeated. Whereas my football team, when I was in 6th grade, went defeated. And I don't want to go there. I'm slapping my arm.
I don't want to go back to high school either. I still have nightmares that didn't make it out.
Oh?
Yeah, I can't say it was my best time academically. I still have nightmares. I'm going back to science class. I'm not good at this. I know it's important, but I'm not good at this.
I'll tell you off mic, the dream I had about you last night. So,
So what was I wearing?
it's not sexual. It's depressing. And I'll just tell you off mic because I don't want to bring any negative energy into this. It was bad. It was really fucking bad. Do you want to hear it anyway?
Yes, so I can wait.
Well, Kaylin broke off the engagement with you to marry my 11th grade high school English teacher. And I was in tears my entire dream. I was like, why would you do this to him? And I was like begging her to go back with you. And you weren't even there. She just like told me. And I'm like, why are you telling me this? That is the last time I drank that Jack Daniels shit that Thomas brought over right before bed.
Good news, Chief. I think that's impossible.
I think so too.
She doesn't even know your 11th grade teacher.
I know, and I'm not even going to say his name on here, just on the off chance it actually happens, and then I'm just going to have to move because I don't want anything bad to happen. Oh boy! And I woke up at like 2:00 in the morning, and like I had to pee. I'm like, I really did just fucking dream that. I haven't seen that guy since I graduated high school, but. Oh, boy. Well, shout out to you, buddy. So, Steve, you mentioned something in your spiel about drunkenness, about Volkswagens, and everybody knows that you had 2 hot hatches.
Yes.
So, we're going to do this episode about hot hatches.
Yay.
So,
something near and dear to my heart if I had one.
Yeah, well, we did Soundgarden last episode. That was near and dear to me. So, hot hatches are you. So, Steve...
in the meantime, I'm driving a tepid hatch, so it works.
It's a hatch. If it has a hatch...
And it's got the rev happy engine. Like, I shouldn't take it to $8,000 now, but at least at one time it could have been hotter.
Bring it to the Busted Knuckle Garage for a tune-up. You'd be amazed. What is it? Is it a regular distributor or is it coil pack on plug?
Coils.
Okay. I was gonna say.
Yeah, like one of those blew up. So there was one day that it was running on 3 cylinders. I'd never seen the check engine light blink before.
It was making sure you saw it. Like,
yeah.
Something's not right here, man.
Yeah.
Somebody posted on the Cherokee forums about they ran their code and the code came back, engine ran cold too long. It was like, anybody ever seen this? And like the first 5 comments were, nope.
Better light a fire under that motor. I was like, what is that? Story of this week in motoring?
Must be. You're more familiar with the hot hatch scene, at least the early ages of it. So I want...
Seeing as nowadays it's cooling right off.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So was the Mark I GTI like the first performance? Like not the first econo box, just city car. It was the one that... It was quick and fun to drive and practice. So that was the first real one.
That is considered one of the first of the genre that they took the first-gen Golf/Rabbit and put the more powerful engine out of a small Audi into it.
Okay. That was a one...
I think it was like a 1.6 or 1.8 liter motor initially. Once it made it stateside, I think it was a 1.8, good for 110 or 120 horsepower, but in a 2,200 pound car. So at the time, this tiny thing could outrun a V8 Camaro. Because that was an emission-smogged monster that weighed, 500 or 1,000 pounds more.
At least, because those were heavy for the day. But you know what's now? They stuff the big engines in the cars, but they don't have near like the power to. There's a lot of power. What I'm trying to say, just like the cars are so fucking heavy now, but they're putting 600 horsepowers in. I don't know. Maybe I'm just
not
drunk.
Quite minivans, but sport utes, big sedans.
I'm also trying not to chew. I was trying not to chew into the mic too, so
That's why I was leaned over.
We're eating a fake Twix from Audi.
The other one.
Lidl. Loudy. Loudy. But back then, they were looking at the vacuum lines of the early 80s, like, even the Conquest. My Conquest had them. It had 30. All right, so somebody actually they parted out their car and they measured the amount of vacuum line in a stock Mitsubishi Starion Conquest, and it was 30 feet. 30 feet of vacuum line. You could...
That sucks.
Take it all... Yes. You could take it all out, and I did. You could narrow it down to 2. One for your blow-off valve, and one for your vacuum advance to the throttle body. That's all you needed. The rest of them were garbage for EGR, for redundant emissions, everything. You could just do away with all of them, and it would run. It didn't have a check engine light, obviously. Everything ran better, smoother, like arguably more power since you didn't have so many potential vacuum leaks, because we all know a turbo car with vacuum leaks just pisses all that boost out, and you don't get any of the benefit. But you get this nice high-pitched whine.
They have all the blow-off valves accidentally.
Have you seen the duck call on the blow-off valve?
That was amazing.
I do kind of miss having a turbo car, but then I don't miss trying to find parts for that turbo car.
Yeah,
because they still do make pretty much all the parts for the S2K.
Yeah, it's like you could easily get another Star Quest, and then you get 3 parts cars. So we're gonna keep them.
Hey, you got more land than I do. Steve, pull this off of the car for me. I'll just drive over. You're only 10 minutes away.
If you hit the light?
The one light.
Yeah, maybe 2. Whatever. That's close.
Yeah, because I take Pear Road to get to your house because I don't want to take the main road. So when the VW arrived on the shores and murdered everything of American vintage, I don't think America had an answer for that immediately. I don't think, because they had was the Focus or the Fiesta in Europe, was it a performance-based or not yet?
At the time, the American spec Fiesta existed until about 1980, and that was absolutely terrible late 70s econo box.
And then it was a 90s terrible econo box.
Well, then it was the Festiva instead of the Fiesta.
Right. That's
close, but no cigarette.
And no V.
Yeah. So what you have to do with that is drop a Hayabusa motor in it.
Yep, I've seen that. It's awfully noisy. A buddy of mine had...
and how thin the doors are on those.
Yeah, a buddy of mine had 2 of them because he had 2 DUIs, and the only thing he could afford to drive on his insurance was a Festiva. So he bought 2 of them for $1,000. I've never felt unsafe in a vehicle before until I rode in that, because the door panels were no thicker than my hand.
Come ride with me. I've got unchecked airbag recalls.
So does Emily. But surprisingly, that we were having this discussion at work.
I got 50 notices about that now. I should probably look into getting that fixed.
I mean, if it's free, but then who has the time? You know, you have the stupid schedule. You're sleeping during the day.
Yep. I did finally get the one I've been waiting for, though. Take it in before the year's end for a $50 gift card.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Better make sure I get the tire swap beforehand so they're not trying to upsell me on that. Like, the windshield's already kaleidoscope.
It's already iPhone screened.
Yes.
You see Karin's iPhone?
Yeah.
God damn it.
Fairly well iPhone. Like, well, took you long enough.
Yeah, that was brutal. That was really fucking bad. After, well, you had the VW, but then what was the next? France had the Renault
France had the 205 GTI. So
that's
GTI
Peugeot, right?
isn't.
Peugeot was okay.
Peugeot 205 okay. GTI. So GTI wasn't limited just to Volkswagen, but you say GTI, at least everyone here is going to assume the Golf Rabbit variety,
right?
But even in Volkswagen's ranks, there's a Polo GTI that's just even smaller
and slower. 3-cylinder?
You don't know what's in it. Like, they don't sell it here. I don't care. Unless, like, it's an Audi RS3. They don't sell it, and I want one.
Oh, did you see on Jalopnik, they said this year, or next year, you can get the old wagon RS3, the old school Quattro RS3. But then the first comment was glorious. It was, internet says, never buy an Audi product, too expensive. Internet also says, buy 25-year-old Audi product from overseas. That's okay.
Funny thing about the 25-year import rule, you see lots of Japanese cars making it over this way, but not so many European ones.
You know why?
Japanese winters are kinder to these old cars.
That and Japanese engineering went into those cars, and European engineering went into the other ones. Japanese wants to make the best car possible for the longest amount of time possible, whereas your European comrades want to make the best car possible for,
warranty.
Yeah. There's nothing more expensive than a cheap German car. But who's worse in reliability? The Germans or the English?
The English.
I think so too, because we have Porsche, and Porsches are actually fairly reliable.
Because those are expensive, but they mean it.
They do. Whereas every English-made vehicle is not reliable. I feel confident in that.
Yeah, you'll see a Chevy swapped Jaguar unironically. You might see the occasional Chevy swapped Porsche because, hey, let's put a thing in it that won't break.
Yep.
928's notwithstanding because that's way too complicated for its own good.
Yeah. But you never see...
We can't all hoover it.
Well, you never see a Jag engine swapped anything. Although, a buddy of ours in the StarQuest Club, Jess Nichols, wanted to V12 swap his Starion. Yep, and then we all, like... Emily's like, when are you podcasting? Now. So I was like, so you want to make your turbocharged forklift engine that's not the most reliable engine in the world, even less reliable, with unobtainium parts, and then you're going to try to shoehorn that huge fucking engine in there. Go nuts, buddy. He never did.
It's a big hood, but it ain't that big.
It'll fit. V12 will fit, but...
Even with a radiator?
On the side. I'll put the radiator in the back. I mean,
it's got the louvered hatchback. Like, no, that's radiator fins.
What are we gonna have next, Steve?
Not the smoked beer.
Not the smoked beer.
So the rock beer, do not get that one.
I gotta save the project because if the power goes out or flickers, I want to at least save what we got. You know what I mean?
Good. I'm surprised I haven't killed my computer from the last couple of days with power flickers.
Yeah, Steve, you got power yet?
Oh yeah, it was out from about 7 to 5 yesterday. So for about 2 hours, I was napping in 50-degree house with a toboggan on, and then the power came back on, and everything's been fine since.
We're going to go to that, and then we'll have one of your cans again. So it'll be like me, you.
People's Moravian Porter, brought to you by Foothills.
Never had the Moravian Porter. I don't know what makes it different.
It tastes like cookies.
Ooh. Emily bread? Shortbread? Oh, boy. Yep, never had the Moravian Porter, so I'm hoping Steve has the, it smells really good face on.
This is why I'm bad at poker.
We're going to discuss guilty pleasure music later on in this episode after we get done with Hot Hatches. And then what Steve said will make sense when I tell you what my guilty pleasure musically is. So, Steve, after Volkswagen, you have Ford's modern take on it is the Fiesta ST and the Focus ST. And then they had the Cosworth.
Which are currently stillborns, which the Kazis weren't available stateside.
Right, at all. But the Fiesta STs
pretty rad.
Would get a strong consideration from me if I needed a new vehicle.
If you somehow needed to merge both of your cars, that'd be a worthy take.
What I have enjoyed with the Jeep, having it for 5 years, is the extra ground clearance, because I don't have to worry about pulling into a spot too far. I'll just drive over it. So I do like that. So that or an Outback or Forester XT is going to kind of just be exactly what I need. But if I got one of those, I would spend money on that, and I don't want that to be faster than the car that's supposed to be my fastest one I own. So, Steve, we're drinking a Moravian People's Moravian Porter, And, yep, it's from Winston-Salem, 5.8%. Winston-Salem was originally settled by Moravians and is still home to the country's second largest Moravian population. Still,
they're like Amish, but not as weird.
Okay. During this festive season, we celebrate our local heritage with a beer created from the spices that have made Moravian cuisine a staple of holiday celebrations in our hometown. Let's give it a shot. Oh, that's delicious.
That'll do.
That's like a Christmas people's porter. The spice, the nutmeg.
It's right there in the name.
Yeah, exactly. The nutmeg, the... Shut up, nutmeg. Let's see, Ford. Let's see, we did... Volkswagen has them. Peugeot has them. Ford has hot hatches.
Mm-hmm.
Honda.
But, going through the ranks, the Civic Si, as of what, 84, 85?
Was it that early?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was like the first was like the Aero-styled Civics. Shut up, phone. Had the SI option and have continued to this day, at least some sort of Civic Si, if not a hatchback. Mm-hmm. That's what I wanted, but upon not being able to find anything in budget, that's how I wanted with the 89 GTI. Had I had, probably late 80s SI, maybe I'd still have it.
And it'd still be running well.
Yeah, except for the fact that would also still be Death Trap. And a 92 would have been too expensive back in 2000 when I was car shopping at the time.
It'd be Death Trap and Theft Trap because of Honda.
I've never encountered the magic of a stolen car.
Oh, you haven't? Let me enlighten you. So Honda did it weirdly because they started out with the hatch, and they made the Civic Hatch Si, and then they didn't. They made the Coupe Si, which is my favorite Civic Si of all time. The Coupe, in Electron Blue.
What, like the
99 2000? That's my favorite one.
That's a good looking car.
It really was. And then they went to the weird looking Lima Bean one in 02. And then it went away.
See one of those floating around Phillips Place every so often.
Yep, and it went away. And then we got another SI, but it was 4-door, which Toby has. Mm-hmm. And then now it's a 5-door. No, Type R is 5-door.
I think the Type R and SI, I don't know which body styles they're in, but... Hot damn it, those new Civics don't make me envy the blind. And it seems the faster they go, the uglier they get.
Funny how that works out. If somebody were to... Well, all right. So if somebody gave me a 99 SI or the brand new Type R, and I had to drive them so I couldn't just sell them and then buy whatever I want. Because if that were the case, I'd just get the new one, and then I would just sell it and buy whatever I wanted. But if somebody's like, we're going to give you this car, you have to drive it for 5 years, I'd take the old SI. It has more character to me. I know the Type R is faster, and I don't care. It's about how it makes you feel, correct? Yes. Because if you just want to go fast in a straight line...
And the hot hatches, they're not muscle cars. They're not replacing the muscle cars.
Not supposed to.
But it is a different take on taking an everyday car and making it more entertaining.
Yep. And also being able to haul a couple of things.
Yep.
Haul your stuff and your ass.
I'm not putting a trailer hitch on this.
Yet.
I mean, hell, even Toyota was in on the game for a little while with the 86 Corollas, and then that was replaced by the FX16s that were also unobtainium.
Yeah.
In the mid to late 80s. And then Corolla got pretty dull until about now with the new 2019s, where the hatch is at least warmed up. It's not going to be, necessarily a go-kart, but for a worthy replacement of my current ride, you bet your ass that's on the list. But I'm not buying one brand new because $27,000 for a Corolla? No.
Nope.
I'll chip that in with $10,000.
Yeah. The sticker on the Jeep brand new was $16,850, I think. That's how much mine sold for in 97. Still not bad. Not bad money. I don't know what that is in today's money, probably 30.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's probably not worth that, but who would have known the bells and whistles that we had with self-driving vehicles and shit like that now too? So me and my by the way, that's a fun drive with no ABS, no traction control,
and rear drive
Yeah. But you take it easy and you don't take turns too fast, and you start out in second gear, you'll be just fine. My test for how slick is the road outside is at 10 miles an hour, go into third gear and dump the clutch, and if it spins, it's slick outside. It spun a lot. So that was my barometer for that. General Motors have they done a hot hatch? Yours is.
Yeah, by Toyota proxy though.
True.
That are the Pontiac Vibe GT, Toyota motored, and Numi built.
Mm-hmm.
It's Geo by a different name.
So,
GM
Geostorm.
Yeah, which was in Isuzu.
Shit. so they just badge engineered all of their hot
pretty
hatches.
much.
Okay.
There was the Sprint back in the 80s. That was a tiny turbocharged hatchback, but I think they sold 6 of those. Doubt you could consider an 80s Cavalier Z24 with the V6 in it necessarily hot hatch, but at least faster hatch.
I was going to say Mopar did with the Omni, but that was a Mitsubishi product.
Was a special thing there.
Yeah, it was Mitsubishi.
With like European design with the Omni Horizons.
The GLH goes like hell. Same engine as the Starion's, 2.64 turbo.
Yeah, out of the domestics, Ford definitely nailed it eventually.
Yes.
Prior to that, there was the SVT Focus back around 03.
Not a bad looking car.
Yeah. Apparently, those break if you look at them. Much like the SVT Contours. I had a coworker that had one, and it's got a bad case of the gremlins.
The SVT driver's ed car. Because all the driver's ed cars in my hometown were Contour. Every high school, all 4 high schools were Contour, I think.
I had the precursor. Like 89 Topaz.
Was a Mercury, or Mercury Mystique was after that. I think it was the same thing.
Same diff, yeah.
Well, shit. Who else had or has a hot hatch? Nowhere. Well, Fiat, 500 Abarth.
Yeah.
And even the old Fiat, the old Fiat, because when Clarkson did the review of the new one, he did the old one. And it was a hatch because remember it had the trunk you couldn't open.
Definitely something more popular in Europe than here.
True. Yeah, as far as here, I cannot think of. I mean, technically, the Integra was a hatchback, but I don't count that.
Yeah, anything with that steep rake to it, hatch yes, but usually you think more upright looking car.
Yeah, just because it has a hatch doesn't mean it's a hatchback.
Yeah. But it's a left back. I was like, whatever, Toyota marketing.
What about Nissan? The NX 2000. But it wasn't marketed as a performance vehicle.
Was it even marketed?
I don't think it was marketed at all. Man, we're running out of...
It's like that was amazing. It was a car from back in the early 90s that looks like the new Rivian electric truck.
The Pulsar... You could make a hatchback, or a wagon, or a coupe, or a pickup truck, whatever you want to make.
Pull the body panels off and make a go-kart out of it. Budget Ariel Atom.
A buddy of ours, who also, I believe, had a DUI, sold his Integra and got a Pulsar because he couldn't afford anything else. And he ended up wrecking that, too. And then Toby the other day was like, I'm pretty sure I saw him in a porno. I was like, really? He's like, I think it was him. I was like,
I'll never forget that dick.
I was like, all right. Well, I don't know if he knew him by his dick. I think he knew him by his face. Mazda, Nissan, Honda did have them.
Mazda had an Austin 323 not sold on these shores.
Oh, really? They had
prior to the Mazda 3 and Mazda Protege was the 323 hatchback.
Yes.
That could be had in turbo all-wheel drive.
Overseas?
Yeah.
No shit.
Going through the catalog of crazy shit in the old Gran Turismo games lets you know just how stupid the American market is.
Yeah.
And continues to be.
Well, what I don't understand is the CR S2000 was only available in the United States, and that was the track, the soft top delete, and you could get it with no radio, no AC, and it was only, usually it's flip-flop. You can only get the hardcore track model overseas. So I don't, Volvo C30 is a hot hatch.
Yep. Get Polestar.
More modern, yeah.
I'd adore one of those, but neither repair bills. So that funny thing, I had my eye on one of those as soon as I bought the pre-runner.
Mm-hmm.
But that was in one eye and out the next. Like, oh wait, I already had a Volvo. It's expensive to keep running. So
true.
Let's just buy something I can't afford, but it never breaks.
True. And you had to, well, that was a dark time for many reasons, but this is a happy time for happy reasons. Yeah, I'm going down. I'm going alphabetically because I can't think of anybody else that had hot hatches, but it is definitely big over there in Europe. Fiat does the Punto over there at Barth, but once again, it's not U.S. shores.
Mm-hmm.
Well, shit. Who does it best? We know
Subaru. What? Because you had the WRX and STI hatch wagons.
The sexually transmitted infection,
Oof.
also known as children.
And also the odd Saab counterpart, the 92X, that was a nicer WRX.
Or as Subaru is backwards, you're a bus.
Thank you.
Modern Subarus don't do anything for me. It's like they all look the same. They're all all-wheel drive wagons or SUVs. So why not just buy the cheapest one you can get and then go about your merry way? Because there's not that much. How many?
Because heated seats.
Fuck heated seats. Actually, I've only had one car with heated seats.
Same here.
Which one was yours?
The first Volvo.
90.
So, of course, a 1990 Volvo 740.
Jeez, what was it heated with? Like the power of suggestion at that point?
Everything ran well. It was just, if it needed to be fixed, it was $500 in the shop right there.
Yeah.
In $1998.
Jeez.
So, kind of a mixed blessing. I totaled that one.
You totaled it or somebody? No, you.
I was not paying attention, making a right turn out of my neighborhood, and the nose got wiped off by a Saturn.
Gotcha.
So everybody walked from that accident. The car did not drive from that accident.
Really? Shit. I forgot what we were talking about. That 13.9%er kind of did me in.
Heated seats?
Heated seats. Yeah. The Acura, my TSX had heated seats, and I could take it or leave it. But I'm pretty hot-natured anyway, so Emily seemed to like it pretty well. I'm trying to talk her into her next purchase being a used CX-5 Mazda in that blue color because she wants to sit up higher because tiny women drive big cars and big women drive tiny cars. It's just kind of the way of the world. I think we're pretty much done with hot hatches here.
Yeah, I think
we got it covered.
One of the non-turbo CX-5s at that, like about a 2017 model, should be just fine.
Well, she buys.
She doesn't need to turbocharge anything.
I don't know. An RDX, like a first gen RDX, would be boss.
Have you seen how bad she road rages?
Yeah, that's why I drive most of the time. How much signal I need for? Have you seen the Family Guy Asian women drivers? How much signal I need to cut across 9 lanes of traffic? None? Okay. Good luck, everybody else. I love her. She's not going to listen to this.
And think of all the things that could have been. Like, all right, there was the new Chevy Cruze hatchback with
Terry.
Maybe like baby turbo power, but not. It's just try to make a better 1.4 liter engine. Woof.
Yeek.
The first gen Vibe Matrices in GT or Extra S trim with the 8,000 RPM motor, like my current car, certainly makes things more entertaining with 50 horsepower over stock,
which
or
is
base rather.
40% increase over
Math.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I do have the watch for that.
Yes, you do. And Casio Emergency. Ford Chevy. Buick.
The Buick's not selling the effectively the Cruise hatchback. They're selling that in China, but in Buick badging. Because apparently Buick is prestigious in China, so that's how and why that brand's hanging on, and Pontiac didn't.
I say we buy a couple of Park Avenues and just feng shui our way over to Shanghai.
Everybody feng shui tonight. Everybody have fun tonight. With your supercharged boats. Mazda with the Mazda Speed 3 that died in 2013. Mm-hmm. Never mind, it was only at the 08, so it was a good-looking car. And then the later ones are just bloated whales.
The Joker smile.
Ugh.
I like the Protege 5 from circa 02. Yeah. The yellow color. But I didn't like the wagon as much as just the regular sedan.
That was what the Protege 5 is, though.
Shit. I meant the Mazda Speed Protege.
Yeah,
that's what I
Speed
meant.
Protege.
That's what I meant.
I think for one time, was available in black or reddish orange.
Okay.
They had 2 different colors available. Rachel actually sent me a link. Do you think you'd like this? I was like, yeah, I don't need another car right now, but that's kind of spot the hell on. I'm kind of anti-sedan, but that would be considered.
It would be. So I've mentioned LHT Performance on here before. The guys who do the S2000, they do a lot of stuff, but they do S2000s a lot in Florida, because I mentioned going down there to get mine supercharged. So he had he had an S2000. He had 2 of them. He sold both of them, and then he got a C7 Corvette, and he sold it, and then he got a C6 ZR1 Corvette that he did some mods to, and blah blah blah. And he sold that, and he got a new car. He got a 2019 NSX, the brand fucking new one.
So how do you mod that?
I don't know. Well, they're already gonna do they do their own fabrication for exhausts, so he's gonna make a full titanium exhaust for it in house, and charge pipes. He's already debadged it. He's had it had paint correction done on it, which even a brand new car can need paint correct. What they do is they smooth it out to make everything exactly the same. If there's any orange peel from the factory, which there wasn't much of, but there's still a little bit, even on a $200,000 car, there is. Shouldn't be, in my opinion, and window tint. But they're going to do some mods. Bone stock, okay, no power adders or anything. At the track, in the drag strip, he ran an 11.1 bone fucking stock in that thing on the tires it came with, which I think are Pilot Super Sports or Pilot Cup 2s or Michelin tires.
Something higher up.
That thing fucking moves. And the thing is, launch control and everything, he ran an 11.1. In manual mode, he ran an 11.2. So, dude knows his way around, It's a good-looking car. It's the burnt orange.
If I see that and a new McLaren back-to-back, I can't tell them apart.
I mean, it's a pretty car.
It's a new wedge. Nah.
I still throw around the idea of trying to find an NSX, even though I know they're not that much faster than an S2000, but it's the look of it and the exclusivity, and I don't know. And I'm not a big fan of convertibles, and I know.
That's why yours wears a hard top.
That's why it wears a hat. And it, much like I do, unless I have headphones on. Steve, you killed your Moravian Porter. Oh no, what will we do?
I mean, I don't want to kill it.
I should have bought 2 of them because that's delicious. So Donnie was like, "Hey man, how'd you guys like the bacon moonshine?" And I'm like, "Tune into episode 21 to find out." He's like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Oh no, it was good." Donnie's 70. He's not going to tune into shit, man.
Here's a cassette.
Here's a my Dodge truck had an 8-track player that worked. The speakers didn't work, but the 8-track player did work.
At Caitlin's parents' old house lived her dad's old 8-track player. But last Thanksgiving, her brother left with said 8-track player and the tapes. It's like, this would be such a neat thing to have in the corner and never use. Like, well, it did work. And 8-tracks don't sound that good in this day and age.
Not at all.
It's just ever played a well-worn cassette? That's about as good as they're going to be.
Well-worn cassette actually sounds like a fairly decent 80s tribute band name. But I don't know if you saw my post on CAA, but it was somebody was like, "Hey, are there any secular witches here?" I was like, "No, but Secular Witches is going to be my new band name." Which Marie Berkeley had a very strong liking to. She goes, "That would be so fucking cool." She is really cool, by the way. I need to make it out to more of those gatherings, but they are always on a Thursday.
Every second Thursday, and yeah, my schedule's screwed. I haven't been to one of those in forever. But a good bunch.
Well, there's certain
occasional other stuff once in a while.
Well, there's I'm friends with certain people on there, but I've had to snooze some of them for good. I can't take it. I know the world's fucked up, but I go, and this is going to sound really stupid, but I go to social media to kind of escape from that and just kind of see funny and stupid shit, and I don't want to see how constantly everything sucks all the time. So,
hey, look what this dumb church did.
Yeah, so I've had to kind of unsubscribe from some of our comrades, but to each his own. So, Steve, we need another drink. What do you fancy this time, Betty? Besides not the smoked beer.
That's my only vote.
Your only vote? You don't care about the rest?
Yeah.
That one? Hell's Lager, and then that's the smoked. Let's go with this one. You'll have to explain to the people what exactly this is.
Hier wird trinken ein Crasberrisch Wickel unter filterer Bierspezialität nach autorischer Tradition seit 1818. This beer's 200 years old.
Fuck yeah. That's only slightly older than the Rainier Light we had a couple of years ago. Thanks, Thomas.
Beer, birra, cerveza.
Cerveza? On the can in German.
In German, in English, in Italian, and in Spanish. Privat Brauerei, H. Edgar, Dackinger, Straße 27, 9443 uns, Großkunlachbach, Deutschland.
I love it when you talk Jeremy to me.
Yeah, these don't have any cute descriptions of it.
And if it did, it wouldn't be translatable easily.
Well, what I can tell you here is that I've got a Bavarian beer, unfiltered, from Bavaria, weighing in at a rather light 5.4% alcohol by volume, or 4.3 by weight.
What?
Don't ever see that one on it.
No. Are they including the can?
Because these cans are quite hefty.
So while you're doing that, we played at Southern Range Brewing last Saturday, and it's kind of a light crowd this time, but it's all right.
Well, seeing as all hell's about to break loose from the skies.
True. Thomas blurted out, "Hey, do you still have that Jack Daniels?" Because he spent like $60 on it.
What, that Sinatra thing?
Yeah.
And I went to try that and didn't. Just like, oh, it's got a little storybook. Like, well, this is cool. Like,
I got it downstairs.
This doesn't make any sense.
Well, I've got He blurted it out. He's like, "Hey, you got any of that left?" I'm like, "A little." He's like, "Man, you told me you weren't going to drink it. That was the second bottle of liquor you drank." And I went, "Every time you come over or we go to the mountains, you drink all of my wife's soda, so we're even." And I turned to the crowd and I went, Is that not even?" And everybody went, "Yes." And Thomas took a sip of his beer and goes, "Fuck all of y'all." But then I told Emily, and she's like, "That is funny,
heckler
but
ever.
where is my soda?" She's like, "You've benefited from my misfortune." I was like, "That's true, but we're married, and in the eyes of the state, we're one entity. So we both win. She didn't see it my way. Steve, let's try the Cress Barus La Wicked.
Maybe she needs to follow my lead and drink generic.
That's a winner too. That drink's lighter than 5%. That's good. That's a good. That would be a good session.
That's how they get you.
From 1818 or whatever that is in German. What is
Achsenhundert Achsen?
Achsenhundert Achsen? Now I know some German. I don't think that's ever going to.
But basically, it translates to 8, 10, 100, 8, 10. So 18, 8, 10, same diff, you betcha.
So if you wanted, like in Spanish, if you wanted a hot dog and you said un perro caliente, you want a hot dog.
Yes.
A hot pet dog. Well, now I want a fucking hot dog.
Bring me your finest Vietnamese food.
Speaking of that, we need to go get some more pho.
Yep.
Like that's, or even anywhere. The place in University or the place on Shamrock?
Central, yeah, that.
Okay. That
Lang Van or Saigon Bay.
Lang Van was the one I was thinking about. That place had the best customer service fucking ever. Like, your drink would get 2 swallows down, and they would beep, top it right back off again. We need to go back there again. But Brian and Katie live on the moon now, so
Yep.
Are you going to the housewarming?
I sure hopes I can.
I gotta try, but that's an hour one way, and I didn't realize how far away Clover was until I looked at the map, and
it is due south of Gastonia.
It is, and there's not really you can go the way the crow flies there, and it's an hour. You can go all the way to Gastonia and then go straight down, and it's an hour that way too. Mm-hmm. So there's not really a good way to get to Clover, South Carolina, and if I'm honest, Brian and Katie would be the only reasons I would ever have to go to Clover, South Carolina. But
fun fact, Charlotte mentioned last pod that the Kmart in Fort Rock Hill Mill is closing.
Uh-huh.
Their place is still 35 minutes from there. That's still 40 minutes from here, taking 45 to 77 to the exit where everything in Rock Hill is.
82.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's oh no, I bought the Maxima on 79. It was
the good exit.
Yeah.
Because that's where they keep Winthrop.
Yeah, something like that. Because I remember, it was creepy. When I bought the Maxima, I got out. I drove, what did I drive down there? I drove the...
This is where you went wrong. You bought a gold car in a creepy place.
I mean, okay, it wasn't the best color, but if that thing wasn't a lemon, I would still have it, even though Toby got so mad at his ex-girlfriend that he punched a windshield out in it.
Windshields can be replaced.
I just traded it in for the Acura at that point. Well,
but what was it? It's a 6-cylinder car, and you went through 13 distributor packs or something.
I did the coil packs twice, all 6 of them. So I did 12 coil packs because I replaced them with OEM parts the first time. And then after mucho research, they're like, oh, you don't want to replace them with OEM. The OEM ones are garbage. Go with this brand. And so I went with that brand. But by that time, I'd already went through... Damn it, I'm eating a bit of honey. Bitto honey? I'd already been through a slave cylinder and then 12 different coil packs. And I did the distributor.
We call them indentured servant cylinders now.
Well, I loved it, but I'm kind of glad that car's gone. They gave me $2,000 for it on trade-in. Believe that shit or not.
Damn.
For the Acura that I grossly underpaid at the Mafia Ram dealership, which is one of the best stories fucking ever told, which I already told in episode fucking 1, I believe, because we had to go through our... oh, yeah, by the way...
Automotive histories.
When we... whatever guest we have, that's going to be the first thing they have to go through is their automotive history. Because that's the first thing we went through. Mm-hmm. Steve, how was the podcast with the dead musicians? Do I need to listen to more of that?
Oh, the Chris Cornell bit?
That or...
That's the only one I heard so far.
Okay, so you haven't listened to it.
It's already better because it's English.
Oh.
I only listened to that episode, and yes, they're
Wait.
quite good.
English or American English?
British.
Cockney English. Do you want to understand?
Not that British.
How British do you really want your narrator? Steve, what is your guilty pleasure music that you like to listen to?
No, I don't hate Taylor Swift. Plus the fact she's adorable.
That too.
Other options: proto rap rock, the Bloodhound Gang, and Two Skinny Jays. Before all hell broke loose with the likes of Lip Blinkskit. Seeing as I've also seen both of these bands in concert,
Right.
and at this point in time, maybe the music hasn't aged terribly well, but hot damn, it sure weren't fun in my teens.
It was. It definitely was.
No cheesy 80s stuff. No,
Well,
Depeche Duran.
I'm not
Totally
a big
rock that out too.
not a big Depeche Mode fan. Duran all fucking day, but I'm not a big Depeche Mode fan, and I despise The Cure. No grown man should dress like that.
Love Cats is untenable.
Taylor Swift, I'm with you on. Like, at least she writes all of her own stuff, and you know what? It might be poppy, but at least sounds different. Like, every song doesn't sound the same. Kind of variety, mix it up a little bit. I'm a Lady Gaga fan. That'd be my guilty pleasure. But once again, she writes her stuff too, and she's super talented. She can actually sing really well and plays the piano, and so. But as far as other stuff, I still like early '90s hip hop, but I don't think that's guilty pleasure for me because it's good shit. Let's see.
That falls into my category of rappers and country singers.
Better when we couldn't drink.
No. I prefer my country from before I was born, and my rap before I could drive.
That's a good way to do it.
So, all your outlaw country pre-81 and all your rap pre-97. That's it. Did you ever listen to Shirlene?
No.
That shit was good.
Really?
It's like from, season 5 of Archer?
Yeah. I didn't. I saw the duet when they did with Kenny Loggins.
Yeah. Sometimes the zone doesn't sound so dangerous.
So if we define guilty pleasure as something that other people would be embarrassed about finding out people liked it, but you're not embarrassed about it,
or something that you're embarrassed people may like, and really you like what you like, and I like to say you're free to make your own mistakes.
Mm-hmm. I like R&B from the 90s too. So like Jagged Edge, Blackstreet.
Thing is, effectively, boy bands which happen to be of Afro-American variety are pretty rad.
Yeah.
Or I really enjoy the Backstreet Boys and O-Town.
O-Town is shit. But by far, the worst group ever is LFO. By far.
Dude, did you see one of the guys died?
Good.
Perhaps laughing my ass off is the wrong answer to this.
Fuck, no, good. If you make that garbage of music, all right. Okay. I'm hoping my internet
the only
works.
thing that will make me happier, if it doesn't, Wi-Fi is Note 6, red phone, all lowercase.
Oh, boy.
Oh, shit. Now the rest of the world knows, too.
Oh, no.
Which requires I've actually got my hotspot on.
So LFO lyrics to Summer Girls. Yeah, I like it when the girls stop by in the summer. Do you remember when we met that summer? New Kids on the Block had a bunch of hits. Chinese food makes me sick. I think it's fly when girls stop by for the summer. I like girls that wear Abercrombie and Fitch. I'd take her if I had one wish, but she's been gone since that summer. It just gets worse from there. It's just it's a mishmash of lyrics that that just rhyme that don't make sense. Hip hop marmalade, spick and span. Met you one summer and it all began. You're the best girl that I ever did see. The great Larry Bird jersey, 33. When you take a sip, you buzz like a hornet. Billy Shakespeare wrote a whole bunch of sonnets. I gotta tell you, I would rather slide down a fireman's pole made of a blade into a pool of alcohol than listen to this song ever again. It gets fucking worse. I can keep going if you want me to, but I don't think I'm going to because the look on your face tells me not to keep going.
I don't know if I want to crush the cans on the table or crush your neck.
Call me Willie Whistle because I can't speak, baby. Something in your eyes went and drove me crazy. These are the worst lyrics ever written. And this is in a world that has Bjork in it. By the way, Bjork, mad cute. Have you seen the one with the Celebrity Jeopardy with Bjork on Saturday Night Live?
It's been forever.
Where'd that goddamn cap go?
Your other heart.
It was at your toe. I got it now. So I think LFO are the worst. I'm not even going to try to say lyricists.
It's just worst attempt at musicianhood.
There we go. I'd say attempt. But you know what? 2 out of 3 ain't bad. 1 out of 3 definitely ain't bad either. At least 1 out of 3 of them are gone. I'm starting to run out of candy from Sweetwater, so I need to order some more music-related stuff to replenish the
hell
candy.
of buying your own candy.
Fuck that. I mean, you don't get musical instruments. That's what they're paying. That's what they're doing. They're making me buy like $500 candy and throwing in free speakers. I think that's what they're doing to me. Is that not how that works?
Did I use the joke like from the 89 GTI that, yes, I've got this $3,000 Bison CD that happened to come with an 89 GTI 16 valve with a Tectonics exhaust, Alpine CD player, and a big-ass subwoofer in the back.
How did that exhaust sound?
I'm not going to call my neighbor stupid, but he thought it made that tiny car sound like a Mustang GT.
I don't think that would be true, but
it happened, and it was a long time ago.
Because
that was a loud car the size of this table.
True. I do a really...
I'd have kept it if it, weren't such a death trap, which its new owner proved.
Allegedly.
Well, at least critical condition, whatever.
I mean, it's a 50... Well, I don't know. I was like, he could be alive, could be dead.
Like, the thing is, like, I still remember the guy's name. Like, it's like, fuck you, name withheld. I actually had a name, like, had a dream. I still had that car. Like, it was awesome.
Mm-hmm. That car would fetch a pretty penny now if it were.
Yeah, that's really bizarre to think about, too. Like, otherwise, like, it's this tiny, weird little car with a massive oil leak.
Did you happen to see on Bring a Trailer the 01 Integra Type R, the championship white one?
Is that the one that went for way too much money because they're off to do
$70-something thousand? Yeah. So cars that you never would have thought would be worth that kind of coin.
The ITRs, though, that made sense. It had it been a GSR going for that money, that's entirely too much. Like, upon transitioning off the second Volkswagen, because I hated the VR6. I just drove a couple of 92 Integras, like one of which was a 92 Teal GSR. Unfortunately, that's before they had airbags, so it was like, ostensibly a less safe looking car. Shit. When at the time I lived in Raleigh, and every other person I knew there had an Integra.
That teal was a good looking color there. My buddy, my rest in peace, he passed away. Jonathan Beatty. He had a teal. I think it was a 92 or 91 because they went to the Goggle Eyes in 94, right?
Yeah.
All right, so it was either 91,
That was also
93.
like when that and hell everything with the airbags in 94.
Yeah, he had we'll just say 92, but his was teal. And it was H22 swapped, Prelude 2.2 liter, and he ran 100 shot of nitrous.
Goodness.
That car would move. That car was fun. I rode with him a couple times. Super, super nice guy. He, you know the Duke building downtown, the one that with the handle on it? He was building that, and he passed away building that. Some fucking piece of shit dropped a power tool from like 20 stories up and hit him in the head with it. So
there's only so much a hard hat can do.
Yeah, so he didn't suffer, so that's good. But he was super, super good guy. Cheers to that guy. But that car would fucking move, super clean, not riced out at all. He just had it lowered a little bit, had a nice set of wheels. It was teal. Took it to the strip. He later went on to bikes and everything too. So he would go and race. We went to Rockingham one night, me and Josh and him. Josh took the Mustang. I took the Conquest, and Conquest wouldn't hook up worth a damn. But that was fun time, man.
How confusing it was seeing the Fifth Gear episodes when they go to Rockingham Speedway. Apparently, there's one of those in England as well.
Probably a little less redneculous, I would imagine. a little less redneculous.
We could hope. Meanwhile, Britain's apparently super fucked right about now.
I have heard on the old nipper because that's the only thing I listen to on the radio. If I still listen to CDs. I know that makes me sound old, but the Jeep is. By the way, the Jeep has dual front airbags, and I think 97 was the first year it was mandated.
Anything for trucks, yes.
What? I wonder if they. Because it doesn't have anti-lock brakes, and it's weird that wasn't mandated.
I don't know
yet.
if ABS was mandated at any point in time. It was like that got adopted by everybody eventually.
Yeah, it's peculiar. Well, I guess they thought, like, well, you know what? If you don't have ABS, at least if you have dual airbags,
yeah.
If you're going to slide into something, at least you'll have something for your face to hit.
Yeah, like this car's only $16,000. What the hell do you people want?
Yeah, I love that. I'm not going to get rid of it. I was thinking about the Outback and the Fiesta. Unless I have to buy a brand new, or unless I have to buy something else, like if that gets wrecked, yeah. Unless I have to, I'm just going to keep it forever.
The thing is, speculation's free.
That's true.
Otherwise, I got my eye on a red 09 Matrix in Greensboro.
What mileage?
A lot. Mileage doesn't matter.
Well, the Matrix
was it kept well?
The Matrix's body style I liked better than the Vibes.
And the second gen in particular, like the second gen. Jeez Louises.
You need to bring your car over so we can recover your recovered parts. Do you have any of your wheels on yet?
No. Like, I've had no time to resurface said wheels.
Gotcha.
So I want to make them blacker before going on. Like, they're already painted, but they're a little chipped. So I got 4 cans of black, 2 cans of clear to put on them.
Here's you a Top Gear top tip. Are they going to rebalance them?
I am going to have that taken care of beforehand.
Don't recover them because they're going to put the weight in a different place.
Well, no.
Unless you have them on the inside.
Inside and stick-ons. Everything previously was done properly.
Okay.
Yeah, I've watched them, and one had way more brake dust than the others.
Gotcha.
So that one's getting extra treated.
Okay.
It's just been too cold to fuck with it.
And
today everything thawing and refreezing over was actually the only time I've had trouble with black ice.
Yeah. Black ice was my old virus defender on my PC back in the day. Do you remember black ice?
One.
It was a slick technology.
I thought that was going to be your cologne go-to.
I was gonna say because I refinished the Jeep's wheels after I had the new tires put on. They put the weight in a different fucking place. I'm like, guys, A, I didn't want the weight on the outside of the wheel, and 2, I wanted it, whatever. But I ended up refinishing them anyway.
Weights on the inside.
I refinished them anyway. So at least they had the decency to do that when I had the S2000 because I had those powder coated. So I was like,
what'd you do with the Jeeps to do? Like go to a local shop in Mint Hill or your buddy's shop?
The Jeep's wheels?
Yeah.
No, remember you drove me to we went to lunch and we dropped it off at NTB and they put the new tires on. And then drove back. Brett does not have the capability to do wheel and tire balancing. Okay. But pretty much everything else you would ever want done. But I feel bad I don't want him to feel like I just call him to have shit done because I need a new catalytic converter welded in because every 2 months my check engine light goes off and it's always code 74, which is catalytic converter. And I have it in brand new inbox, in the toolbox, ready to go in.
My check engine light stays lit.
I just I had to reset it.
Skirt it, in the 4.5 years I've had the car.
There's 2 reasons I have to reset mine. Reason number 1 is because it bothers me for it to be on. Reason number 2 is because it's so fucking bright. I don't know what Jeep did that on purpose so you'd fucking fix whatever it was. It's like 4 times brighter than every other light in the instrument cluster. Once that thing goes off, it's like if it's midnight, it's noon when that motherfucker comes on. It's just boom, check engine. But I reset it. It goes off every 2 months. I have to pull the battery negative terminal for 10 minutes, put it back on. It stays off for another 2 months. That's a small price to pay in a car with no ABS and no stability control. The stability control is my right foot. That was a fun drive. It never got insurmountable though. It was just take it easy.
The other day valeting new Jaguar. Encounter the full fury of that thing's traction control. That it's a rainy day out, and just trying to take this car out of a parking spot, like it detects slip, like it just cuts power, like immediately. It drops. It is an on-off switch. Like,
are those rear or all-wheel drive?
I guess that one was the rear driver.
Most of the Jags, Beamers, Lotai are rear, except for the Elan, which was front-wheel drive.
I don't believe Lotus's
the Elan
all-wheel drive.
What?
I don't believe any Lotus is all-wheel drive.
Well, not all, but rear at least.
But
I think the Elan
rear drive, yes.
The Elan was front-wheel drive.
Yeah. In case you need to spend too much on your Miata.
Yeah. For a worse Miata that's not as reliable.
It's a good-looking little car, but...
Yeah, not that good looking. No. Although I gotta say, an NA Miata I need to drive one. Everybody says you need to drive one just because it's so I mean, S2K is one thing, but they say the NA Miata is just like driving a go-kart. You don't have that much power, but you could just wherever you point it goes to. And that sounds fun. You're out of beer. I need to be out of beer. Well, we got a smoked and we got the other one, so. We're only an hour and a half in, so
time flies for a nut.
That does.
The non-smoked.
Fair enough. I'll get the non-smoked. The Causal. It's another germ with a very high-looking, maybe fox again with a beak. What the fuck is that?
An owl?
That is an owl, I guess. Sate 1809. Say it is
Sight.
Made?
Since.
Okay. I forgot German's pretty similar, actually, to English.
Until it isn't.
Yeah, it's neither here nor there.
I went through a few years of those classes. It is controlled nonsense.
I took Spanish, which is slightly more... relevant.
So how much of that do you remember? Oh, wait. You do. Everybody else does not.
I paid attention though. And I took some Rosetta Stone after high school, too, which does help. But I thought about going back and actually becoming fluent in Spanish, just because if you're fluent in Spanish, you kind of open up your job more. Tink.
That'll do.
Ooh, that's good, too. Steve, tell them about it.
Kurzler. Helslager. Kurzler unterst Schneider. What? Guys, it's been a long time that I took German. I don't know what's going on here. I can tell you it's 5.2% alcohol by volume. Brought to you by Kausenbrau, Oxenfurt, Germany.
Bless you.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Yeah,
Not much on there.
it is what it is. It is this strong, and that's about it.
That can doesn't feel like it has anything in it, whereas the other can still feels like there's something in the bottom of it. And with the owl on it.
Well, here it looks like a lighter beer represented by a bird, so that's why it's lighter.
Have you heard?
Go on.
I thought everybody had heard. Oh, well, a bird is a bird. Emily
By the way,
hates that.
one of the worst songs to do at karaoke. Because all the noise at the end of the song is still in there. Fuck you, ghosts of old Jackalope Jacks.
What's there now?
Apartment construction?
Ugh.
Because fuck this city.
Everywhere. Like, soon there's going to be so many places to live and nowhere to do anything.
Everybody's remember the Plaza Midwood. Hey, what's there? Apartments.
Yeah, about that. So,
and Boris and Natasha.
Who want waffle?
I forget to make waffles. Oh, crap shits.
I need to make that my ringtone. Steve's wearing his vintage Pontiac shirt, which always kills. Whereas I'm wearing my Big Kahuna burger from Pulp Fiction. Tasty burgers. God damn it. We're running out of table here. When we have guests, we're going to have to either clean the table off or get a bigger table.
Get a taller chair.
Taller chair would work, too. I thought I just saw the power flick.
You saw it, too.
Yeah, I saw that, too.
Did you save it again?
I did. We still have an hour. We have an hour and 38 minutes of recorded material. So if it happens to end a little bit prematurely, then, well, you know what? We got an entire episode out of it. Unlike the Ghost of Episode 3's past, it failed miserably, which is fine. Is this going to be the last? This will be the last episode before Christmas, correct?
Yeah.
Because Christmas is 2 weeks from today.
All hell breaks loose.
Yeah, because Christmas is 2 weeks from today. That week, when are you coming back into town?
I think I'll be out of town that weekend, but occupied Christmas Day proper.
Yep.
After which should be good to go.
Maybe Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll probably work.
27th.
Yes, I got 2 shows that week. 28th at Noda. That'll be a fun one. Hopefully they have some more of their fun shit that they release, the kind of expensive stuff. But you know what's good news is in January,
The Monstro.
You know what gets released in, I believe it's January or February every year at Noda?
The honey pie. Oh, that's the other one.
That's Birdsong.
Yeah, them too.
Hopcakes. Hopcakes gets released again, so I can't wait to. I look forward to spending another $150 in hopcakes like I did last year, and then it being shockingly gone in a shocking time frame at least. God, it's gonna be 2019. That sucks. You know what sucks? Getting old. Steve got another year old. Actually, before the last podcast, I think.
It was just after Thanksgiving.
It was good. The big 2-9. How does it feel?
Good again. and other lies I can tell you.
Well, Steve,
I think it was day after birthday I did that.
I think
That
so.
Tuesday, 27th.
Yeah, it was before.
Yeah, and then it was Thursday that I encountered about a vertigo. Don't recommend that one, guys.
Ugh. Are you better?
Yeah.
What did they give you?
Something I can't pronounce.
So not Dramamine.
Glorified Dramamine. Yeah.
Okay.
The first few encounters of that, like taking that, and then of course testing for scientific reasons. How do I feel after drinking on this? Super drowsy. Well, not the case right now on same pill.
Okay, good.
So
good.
getting the hang of that. Just in the next 48 hours, we'll continue to hate everything.
They took the Benadryl out of the Dramamine and gave you a script for it.
Yeah. And I went to Costco Pharmacy in Matthews.
Mm-hmm.
Pills there would have been 3 a day for $17 for the run of, I guess, a week's supply.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, Farm Tech's there. It's like, well, you could do that. Or we have this pill that's the same thing, but you take it twice a day, and there's more of them for $4.
Ding, 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 ding.
I didn't know I could do that. Yes, that. Give me that one.
Yes. Some is good, more is better. And
Or
less a day.
fewer's better.
Well, less a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it worked. I should perhaps be referred to an ENT, but that hasn't happened yet, and I'm running out of year to use this year's insurance. But next year's looks essentially similar.
The ENT I had to go to this year.
It was a giant walking tree.
Yes, and phenomenal. But I will give you the info on that. Off mic. We don't want to be... we don't want to be indoor C's. We want to be indoor C's for local medical practi. Yes, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because the other one's super fucked.
Kind of, yeah, basically. They don't think it's anything serious, do they?
No, like, I never had an EKG before. I went to urgent care a week ago to get this thing checked out. Everything turned out pretty much okay, so they're kind of baffled.
You're still handsome, so there's that. I mean,
yeah.
I can't think of anything else that would...
If my eyes could stop packing their bags, that'd be nice, but that's semi-permanent with this dumb condition of work and being broker.
I'll trade my great eyesight for your great head of hair.
But I've already got good eyes. You've got good eyes. Oh, shit.
Oh.
You only sell carrots. I eat carrots. And utter
Mm.
lies that World War II taught us.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ian.
The only carrots I care about. I know
That's not how that works.
I was just eating diamonds. I was thinking my vision would get better. Oh boy. Well, I'm out of shit to talk about. How about you? Huh? My well is dry. That's what happens when your internet's been out for 4 days and you can't research any of the topics you wanted to talk about tonight. 4G still works, but just barely. Apparently, my house is a dead zone for 4G if you're with Sprint. You're still with Verizon. Gotcha.
By way of Altel.
Oh. I'm still with Sprint via Sprint.
Well, like, add Altel late 01 to late 08 or 09. And that's when the transition happened from Altel to Verizon because Verizon bought them.
Mm-hmm.
And have had Verizon for 9 or 10 years. Same number. If you know it, drop me a line. If you don't know it, Don't bother trying.
If you do know it, call it, and if he doesn't pick up, he'll give you a voicemail that says the new number is the same as the old number.
Nah, I finally changed it to something a little more professional.
Okay, well, I guess now yeah.
Yeah, I was like, the job hunt's still going something fierce, at least on my end. No one's answering. Like, oh, good. No, I don't want to pack shit for FedEx.
No. Although UPS does pay really well if you know, and you can drive a manual transmission, so there still is that. I don't think I know of anywhere else hiring. Marie said Food Lion Corporate was hiring, but that's a shitty drive to Salisbury every fucking day. But it is Monday through Friday, so. Roar. Rower? _ 69. Old school aim. These kids don't know what we're talking about, do they? What is that?
Let's Merc Online.
We
are online.
I did think about making one of my notifications the from AIM. I can't think of what I would want other than the Mario coin, which has been my text notification for 8 fucking years now.
Well, now the world knows that mine is bottle cap.
True. Although it's quite loud, actually, which is good. At least you can hear it. But you have to hear it in the print shop.
I'm surprised. Who the fuck's going to call me on third shift?
Me. I'll call you tonight when I wake up and have a weird fucking dream about your fiance boning my fucking English professor. What the fuck? I don't know. I don't know what in my subconscious decided that would be a good dream to have that last night. But it did. It fucking did. And I regret it.
Was your second grade, 11th grade, whatever grade teacher, Gerard Butler? No? Super. Because that's about the only shot he's got.
No, it was
to be him.
No, it was Gerardo. Rico. Suave. There's a guilty pleasure of mine. I actually like that song. It's fucking stupid, but I actually like it.
Sometimes you're just too sexy.
Right, said Fred. Little did he know, we're in England. You can't go right on red.
America's only contribution to the world is to be able to make a right-hand turn on red light.
I don't think anybody has ever been so sexy that it hurts.
Explains my wrists. What?
Well, that's why I do lefty, because the computer mouse is in my right hand, so I have to multitask. The right hand's just weird. I can't. It's like it's not the same, man. It's just not the same. Well, Steve, 22's coming to an end. 22's been nice. 23 will be arguably the greatest of all time.
Whatever, Mr. Jordan.
Yes. Well, Steve, if we don't see you if we don't have a podcast before Christmas, which we're probably not going to.
Happy Festivus, you animals.
It is a Festivus for the rest of us. And ending with that, I'm AJ.
I'm Steve, and I got a lot of problems with you people.
Why? What's that?
You never saw that episode of Seinfeld, did you?
I didn't.
That makes no sense.
I'll watch it. And after I watch it, it'll make sense.
Festivus, yes. Bagels, no.
No bagels. Steve, bye-bye.
Tiddles. Threedles. Fourdles.
Bagels.
Fidles. Bagels.
Bagels.
Bagels.